From Centerville Bank Stadium in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, it is the USL Championship Eastern Conference till tonight between Rhode Island FC and Miami. Tonight's match is presented by the official home auto and life insurance partner of Rhode Island FC, AAA Insurance. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. And Marion, it's a big one. No questions about that when it comes to the playoff line. Already in the USL Championship, Rhode Island hoping to get their first ever home win here at Centerville Bank Stadium. And Miami, who have never beaten Rhode Island in two prior meetings, could potentially jump into the top 8 if they get 3 points here tonight. The last meeting was Rhode Island's last home win in the regular season, an 8-1 win on the final night of the regular season, Marion, last year.
An absolute onslaught, and it's easy to say, well, it was just against Miami, but Sean, it was much more than that for and that still's true. It's just got to come down to the execution.
On the other side of the coin, Miami, you've already made some drastic improvements from last year to this year, and they've been pretty good under first-year head coach Gaston Madoni over the last 5.
Yeah, what an entertaining brand of football. Enjoyable to watch their ball movement. There's been progression because of that. 11 points throughout the 2024 season, 10 points already here in the regular season. And as electric as this offense have been, Sean, they've been conceding goals at a rapid pace. And it's going to be important for that to continue their progression moving forward. And it starts with Francisco Bonfiglio. This group defending starts with him as a striker, his ability to make play predictable for the players behind him, and in an effort to win possession higher up the field, because there's no doubt he's made a noticeable impact on the attacking side of the ball.
It's the third ever meeting between Rhode Island and Miami. Miami hoping to beat Rhode Island for the first time in the club's history. Rhode Island trying to make history tonight, getting their first ever win in Centerville Bank Stadium. The kickoff from Pawtucket is coming right up.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
Rhode Island, are you ready? Rhode Island FC's brand new home, Centerville Bank Stadium, is waiting for you. Don't miss out on any of the action this season, as the Ocean State's very own look to defend their Eastern Conference title. Tickets are available now, starting as low as $16.36 per game. Scan the QR code to secure your seat today.
Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder back here with you, about to get this one started between Rhode Island and Miami, presented by AAA Insurance here in Pawtucket. Let's dive into the starting lineups, brought to you by Ballybet Casino. We begin with Cano Smith's men in search of that historic first win at Centerville Bank Stadium.
And to do it, they're going to need their defense to continue doing what they've been doing. They've been winning by way of their defensive structure, but now what they need is a bit more offensive prowess, and Maxi Rodriguez, playing in a bit of a higher position, will hopefully do that.
For Gaston Madoni and Miami, they have a little bit of vengeance on the brain after a tough trip to Burn Stadium last year.
They do, and really their bright spot is that diamond that you see up top, the interchange between them and Blanco pulling the strings in the distribution.
We've had a couple of USL Championship teams make incredible point turnarounds. Charleston a couple of years ago in 2023, they made the final. Las Vegas last year, making the Western Conference final. Miami's got an outside chance to do that again this year after they accumulated just 11 points a year ago. And Miami are in all white. They get us started here in Pawtucket, going from right to left. And Rhode Island on amber night here in Pawtucket are in those amber kits going on the left to right spectrum of the field. And an early volley from well outside of the penalty area from Bonfiglio, who is certainly not lacking for confidence at the moment. Sends it out of play. Today's health report is presented by the official orthopedic partner and team physicians of RIFC. Learn more at orthopedicsri.com. Overall, both teams in good shape. A chance to catch up with both coaches on that front earlier this week. Cano Smith didn't put it into the injury category for anybody, but of course still waiting to see the latest on J.J. Williams. Is he going to get back into the fold from an RIFC perspective? But other than that, both teams in about as good a shape as they could be at this point in the season. Kalen Radisov is our head official. Let that play go initially on this near side. And Miami back in possession. And they'll skewer it out to the far side, looking to attack this far right-hand channel. Played up ahead. It was a lovely first touch initially, and not a bad effort on the shot. It is out of play for a goal kick. A couple of Miami forays forward as we look at keys to RIFC success against Miami. It's presented by Ford, and we start with Rhode Island's attacking prowess.
It's just about keeping it simple. We've talked about their ideas are there, their creativity is there. It's just a matter of consistent execution. And then for Miami, group defending, they have been entertaining to watch, enjoyable to watch on the attacking side of the ball, but they've been conceding goals just as often as they've been scoring them. And for them, it's all going to be about their ability to pressure the ball when they lose it out of possession and go as a group.
And in this fixture as well, two prior meetings, Miami have conceded 11 goals to Rhode Island and have only scored 3. Here's Christian Vasquez. Lays it out to the far side. Vasquez did continue his run, gets onto it on the far side. Has a little bit of space to operate in as he approaches the byline. Early ball into the middle is headed down. Big Miami chance, and it's a critical save, a double stop from Jackson Lee to thwart Lucas Milano.
Well, you can't talk about this Rhode Island team without mentioning just how good the goalkeeping union has been for this side. That's a big time stop. Jackson Lee comes out, doesn't hesitate, makes himself big, takes away any angle.
Of course, normally anchored, dare I say, by Koke Vegas. He's got 4 clean sheets this season, but Jackson Lee is pretty darn good himself and showed you why there. Fuson on the far side, taken towards the sideline where Miami win the ball back. Dalton Knutson cleaning things up nicely defensively for the visitors. Rhode Island FC would like to recognize the anchor partners, Breeze Airways, Capelli Sports, Centerville Bank, Ortho Rhode Island, for their support on and off the field this season. Frank Nodarce resets to Grant Stoneman. Rhode Island have already played so many tough opponents here at Centerville Bank Stadium, and that's not just in the league, but of course in the Open Cup as well. We're still looking for that elusive first Centerville Bank Stadium win to really christen this great new ground. And of course, that was their last home win. It was against Miami. We highlighted it in the Open at the end of the regular season last October. They haven't won at home since. Now, of course, they're in a new home, hoping to finally get all 3 points over the line in Pawtucket tonight. Shapiro Thompson leaks in behind here. Squaring up to unleash a vicious volley, but Bodu Akinyode was there defensively.
Well, Shapiro Thompson is a player that we have not given near enough credit for. We've seen him play in those central pockets, and we've seen him more recently bump out to a wider position. He's so good on the ball, but he's also got recognition, vision, and this is just a pinpoint delivery from Clay Holstad. An excellently timed run by Shapiro Thompson.
Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner kick. Remember, if Rhode Island scores at home from a corner this season, you get a free chicken sandwich at the Chick-fil-A Attleboro location. And from the corner, it's a free header. Oh, and it's cleared off the line. Did it go over? It did not. Hands on Rhode Island heads. That is the closest Rhode Island has come to scoring a home corner this season.
Frank Nodarce goes up and gets all of that one. What an effort. Just tucking right underneath Bill Hamid. An incredible defensive moment.
Second try. Cushioned header out to the outskirts after Ricketts and Hamid combining to get rid of the first attempt, and then Hamid reacts late to the ball back in, but eventually collects for Miami. Two strong early chances for Rhode Island after a decent spell up the other end for Miami. That's one back by Mabika, who's held up. And Kalen Radisov doesn't hesitate. That is going to be a foul. It's going to be a free kick. And it's going to be a yellow card for Vasquez.
These are good moments from Rhode Island, creating early frustration from a Miami side who is struggling in their group defending. A wonderful step from Mbika, and then draws the foul. But as much as we've talked about the positive things in so many of Rhode Island's games that they've been able to create on the offensive side of the ball, it's got to result in something.
That was one of the big talking points with our conversation with Cano Smith this week. He said he'd be more concerned if they weren't creating chances, but they've got to finish off more of them. That's been the message, particularly to the attacking players. That's another free header that takes a ricochet off of Akinyode, and again, Bill Hamid was ready for it. Ame Mabika got his head to it first for Rhode Island. On the near side, the Academy product, Brandon Bent resets for the visitors. Well, 2025 single game tickets for Rhode Island FC's historic first season at their new ground here at Centerville Bank Stadium are on sale now. Get your tickets today. Right to the fans here, fighting through some of the elements here in Pawtucket. It's been raining for quite some time, particularly in this part of New England throughout the day. Of course, hope that Mother Nature does us a solid and holds off for the remainder. Bent on the near side is doubled up. Forced to get rid of the ball a bit earlier than he would have liked, and it's a Rhode Island throw.
We mentioned Ame Mabika, his name a few times already in these opening 9 minutes, and to that point that we were trying to make about the offensive production that this Rhode Island side needs to have, I actually think his addition as a center back, which is rare to say it, it will help the offensive side of the ball, because not only does he bring obviously great stature and great 1v1 defending ability, but he's also bringing a calmness in the way that they can build through the thirds. We just saw his ability to step up, and not only step up and win that ball, but distribute immediately out of it into a dangerous offensive position. He's going to be a real key for them, real bright spot as the rest of the season progresses.
Miami pressing high up the field. Eventually the ball went out on that far side. And Miami, who does have a game in hand on many teams in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship, could make up quite a bit of ground in the standings if they win tonight against Rhode Island. They would get ahead of Rhode Island, that's for starters. And there's other teams that they could also jump ahead of. And Gaston Madoni's side lead with all 3 points tonight. That is a big if, of course, as Noah Fuson picks up the pieces, looks for Shapiro Thompson, still might get there, and sees it out for a corner on this near side, again brought to you by Chick-fil-A Attleboro. And cue the Centerville Bank foot stomp. It's become pretty customary on these corners.
Are you going to trademark that? That's incredible.
It has become a thing, dare I say. Aldair Sanchez, the lefty, will take it here in front of the Rhode Island Ultras. Puts a lot of air underneath it, probably too much air underneath it. Bill Hamid is able to make the catch. So Rhode Island is proud to welcome MyRI TV as a broadcast partner in 2025. RIFC fans can now watch live action regionally on Nessun, locally on MyRI and stream on ESPN Plus, so don't miss any of the action this season. Again, Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Good start to the game. Both teams have had some opportunities in the opening 11 and a half minutes. That's a giveaway. Maxi Rodriguez lays it off. Shapiro Thompson, saved by Hamid. And then it's cleared out for a throw-in. Really good strike from Amos Shapiro Thompson. Hamid meets it.
And one ace gets his hips all the way through that one. But Bill Hamid, what a story, what a headline he has been for this Miami side. We've talked a lot about their need to progress in their group defending. If they can do that with Bill Hamid behind them, they will potentially make a real playoff push this season.
Played a number of seasons in Major League Soccer with DC United in his career, and then came back to the USL Championship with Memphis in 2023. Unfortunately, of course, Memphis now defunct. It's his first season here with Miami, and well, he just continues to make an impact, Marion, you said it. And he's now, feels like he's still in his 20s, now 34. Bill Hamid still doing it at a really high level. Of course, has 8 caps with the U.S. men's national team in his time playing the game as well. This is Zachary Harivo for Ame Mabika, another guy with a lot of MLS experience under his belt. First time ball onto this near side, out of reach of Frank Nadarse.
I liked that movement, right? That idea was all stemmed from Shapiro Thompson inverting himself a bit more centrally. It opened up that direct line of passing to Maxi Rodriguez, and in the hopes to create that overload in the wide area.
Ball's poked forward towards the edge of the box. Sanchez is there. And, oh, it's a missed kick by Jackson Lee. And Miami are gifted a corner. Lee caught in 2 minds.
We love and love to hate. You're going to make mistakes. It's inevitable. It's all about how you respond, how your teammates pick you up around it.
Short corner. And then it's clipped back to the edge of the box on the far side, and Lee collects. The attack really fizzled out there for Miami. We look to bring this up the other end now. Rhode Island on the front foot. Deke was in the middle, and it's just past him. Oh, that was such a good bit of build-up in transition. Deekwa just needed a better bit of service from Sanchez, but I must say it wasn't far off.
I love how convicted this Rhode Island side is in this moment of transition. Fuson just touching it into the open space behind the Miami back line, and that is inches away from a toe poke from Albert Deekwa. And you could see that was a great angle, because you could see that Deekwa's run was actually going towards that near post. Sanchez in that moment was really looking for more of that back post run.
Another close call in these opening 15 minutes and change. Stoneman for Deekwa. Harivo. And then Nodarse just about recovers it. And it's a full Rhode Island reset with Stoneman and Holstad. Fuson tried to fit it into a tight gap. Miami wins the ball back. Look to go over the top through the middle here. Milano. And again, trying to hold up the play. Romero, in the end, loses out. It's a Rhode Island throw. Holstad. And Nodarse finds Mabika. The New England laborers are training the workforce of today that'll build the tomorrow. State-of-the-art training facilities across Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut will be equipped with the classroom and job site knowledge to start a rewarding career in the construction industry. Build your future with the union that built the stadium at Tidewater Landing, your home of Rhode Island FC. Rhode Island working and getting a free kick that Holstead will play over to this near side. Maxi Rodriguez switches the point of the attack. And there was a brief moment to maybe maraud into the penalty area there, but Miami snuff it out. Back for Holstead, who ends up getting dispossessed in the middle of the park here. It could open up potentially for Miami, but Harivo recovers for Rhode Island. Referee says it's all ball. Play continues up the other end. Deekwa is in an offside position, and that's where the sequence will end. So our first look at Gaston Modoni. His first job in the U.S. as a head coach, formerly of Boca Juniors and Racing Club, more in a scouting and development role, and was an assistant coach at Racing Club. And the early returns on his time with Miami have been very, very positive, specifically after that really tough start. Those opening 4 games did not go Miami's way, of course, but since then, there's been quite some turnaround.
No doubt. I mean, a complete overhaul of that roster in 2024, already nearing the amount of points that they had in 2024, 11. They're at 10 right now. But what I think is the biggest change is the buy-in that we see on the pitch. There were times last year with this Miami team where it just felt like their heart wasn't in it. And this group, you can tell that Gaston Modoni has invited them to go on this journey, showing them concepts, trying to get them to buy into the principles of play. And those positive results, Sean, as you mentioned, are really showing up well for them in the last handful of matches.
Just to piggyback off that point, Miami already have as many league wins as they had all of last season. It's only June 7th. Back in Rhode resets. Knutson, that was nearly handled. Rhode Island get the ball back for a reset with Mabika and Stoneman. Of course, we talked to Cano Smith earlier this week, and he's been really happy with the defensive side of the game. Just 10 goals conceded for Rhode Island. That's the 4th fewest in the league. It's been at this end. They need to be a little bit sharper, and they're going to get another Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner after a needed clearance on this near side from Brandon Bent.
At this level, the game is one of small margins, and that's all it is right now for Rhode Island on the offensive side of the ball. These are milliseconds, right? Half steps of incorrect timing, whether it's the delivery, whether it's the run, and that's all that has been separating this Rhode Island side from multiple goals in just about every match that they've played.
Sanchez towards the back stick, and it's headed high into the air towards Rodriguez. Mabika stayed up there with his tall frame. And then as it was cleared, it did take a ricochet. Oh, it didn't quite go out. And the referee thought for a brief moment it was going out for a throw. It stays with the visitors on the far side. Blanco. Ooh, a little bit of miscommunication there. Knutson ends up leaving it on that far side for Jonathan Ricketts. Made that big goal line clearance that kept Rhode Island off the score sheet on that Frank Nodarse header earlier in the half. Misplaced pass, but Clay Holstead cannot hang on to it. Referee plays advantage as Miami try to get a shot away from the outskirts of the box. It's blocked away. Miami can still retrieve it on this near side. Blanco again, not able to find a teammate, and then Maxi Rodriguez cannot get onto the ball. Still a chance here for Miami. And the shot is sent over the top. Miami thought there might have been a little bit of a nick on the way through. There was not. It is a goal kick.
What a good spell of possession there from Miami. You can just watch them move in and out of those central pockets, but really it's the defensive side of the ball stepping in to make sure that the second phase of play wasn't lost. No one steps to the ball, and a shot window opens.
Dequa, not quite able to hold up the play. Back for a Mabika reset. And then a bit of a drag down there. Sanchez wins a free kick. Rhode Island coming in unbeaten in 4 of their last 5 in the league. Won at Pittsburgh, of course, in the Jägermeister Cup after losing here to Pittsburgh in the league in back-to-back weeks. Nodarse for Fuson. Ooh, and tried to get it back to Frank Nodarse, but those two not on the same page. Getting to the game is easy with RIPTA's free game day bus service. Buses loop every 8 to 10 minutes between Pawtucket, Central Falls Transit Center, Centerville Bank Stadium, and the stadium's reserved parking lots. For a full list of stops, visit ripta.com/RIFC. Of course, we'll be keeping tabs on all the other games going on throughout the day in the USL Championship. Meanwhile,
busy day.
Very busy, and speaking of that, Charleston leading at Loudoun by 1-0. That's a top of the Eastern Conference clash at the moment. Of course, Louisville in the mix there as well. Charleston would extend their lead at the top of the East if they hold on there. 23rd minute at Highmark, Pittsburgh 0, Detroit 0. It's Holstead with a head of steam. Finds Shapiro Thompson, who tries to send it back into the middle. It still could fall for an opportunity here. Fuson, can he pick up the pieces here? A little bit hesitant to put a ball back in. Harivo trying to dig out some space for a cross himself. Gets it back again from Fuson. And then Fuson couldn't slide it through for Rodriguez.
Those are really some of the decision-making moments I think Cano Smith wants to hone in on. Right in that moment, you were gearing up for a service, you didn't get it. The runners are still there in the back of the 18-yard box.
Fuson lays it off! And the shot is tipped over the top by Hamid to thwart Maxi Rodriguez.
And this is an excellent recognition of a numbers-up situation from Noah Fuson and the rest of the Rhode Island FC side. They realize that all of the numbers from Miami's defensive positioning are going out to deal with Rhode Island's numbers on the wide channel. What does it leave? Maxi Rodriguez wide open at the top of the 18-yard box. Just couldn't make the most of it.
Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner on this near side for Rhode Island. And they go towards the back stick, and again it's headed down. But the referee says there's a foul against Frank Nodarse. Free kick, Miami. If you're looking for help, how to pay for college, look no further than RISLA. It's been helping students and families for decades. Visit RISLA.com to find out more today. How about that save, by the way? Hamid thwarting Rodriguez. Looking more like 24-year-old Bill Hamid.
He's looked like that all season.
He has. He really has. That's a credit to the hard work he's put in to stay at one of these top levels.
That insane Tampa Bay game coming up massive in penalties.
Yeah.
After an insane, you go down. So if you're not aware, everyone, Miami went down 3-0.
This was in Jaeger Cup.
In Jaeger Cup against Tampa Bay Rowdies. They come back tight 3-3. And then Bill Hamid just stands on his head. He was doing it throughout the entirety of that second half, and then comes in and makes a couple big penalty saves.
Might be called upon here. This is Noah Fuson. Couldn't find space for the shot, and in the end, Knutson and company handle it and clear it.
Let's put a bow on that point just to prove how vital his contributions have been. Because of that performance, Miami finds themselves atop of Group 6 in the USL Jägermeister Cup.
Both these teams actually in pretty good shape as
Yeah.
far as their Jägermeister Cup campaigns are concerned. And Miami moved this forward, but run out of room on the far side of the box. Bold, fearless, and always pushing limits. The Robo's Boom Sauce isn't just a beer. It's your catalyst for your adventure. It's that friend who always has one other waiting for you at the Rhode Island FC. Boom Sauce, the double IPA that's always ready to fuel your next move. Approaching the half-an-hour mark here in Pawtucket. It's getting a little testy there. Dequa going at it with Matias Romero. Just a talking to from Kalen Radisoff. And now all of a sudden you have to keep an eye on those two anytime they're in the vicinity of each other.
That's one thing I just love about both of these teams. They just have a willingness on the individual level just to compete with the guy next to him. I don't mind it. I don't mind a little showboat, and I don't mind a little trash talking. think it's what makes some of these teams so difficult to play against. No doubt that's a mentality that Rhode Island has had both of its years.
Fuson fouled. And immediately takes the free kick. Harivo was caught up to.
That's a tough challenge not to be called.
Just a goal kick. To the Rhode Island fans. And a wry smile from Zach Harivo will tell you that Rhode Island may have had a case there.
I mean, just completely from behind. No contact with the ball, no intention to play it either. Ball had already been released from his foot. The angle of the slide tackle not even going for the trajectory of the ball. Very confused on that no call from our head official.
Kalen Radisov was maybe following the ball and didn't see the follow through on the back end. 15 minutes to go in the half though, and Albert Dequa wins Rhode Island a throw-in on the near side. The first 10 minutes in particular, really bright, both teams having chances, and it has been simmering. All of a sudden, it has gone down a little bit since then, I would say.
I agree. It's gotten a bit expansive. The midfielders have been taken out of the game a little bit more than we saw in those first 10 minutes.
That's flicked across. Mabika tried to swat it out of the air with his right boot. It was blocked away. I'll tell you what, it seems that Cano Smith really likes it with Ame Mabika in the penalty area just to wreak some havoc, and anytime he can get near the ball, it looks promising.
Well, if I was 6'6".
A lot of times you see that saved for the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, but whether it's a set piece or Rhode Island moving it forward, Mabika does make more runs forward, it feels like, than normal.
As well as Frank Nadarse, right? And so oftentimes you see one defender going up because you're comfortable in the structure and the defenders left behind him. I think that actually speaks to the quality of defensive midfielders on this Rhode Island side. Oftentimes Clay Holstad, the one on the ball, Zachary Harivo doing a lot of drop back in those set piece situations, and Grant Stoneman, we don't talk about him a lot, but truly a very, very capable 1v1 defender, very intelligent in terms of being able to slow the play down. So you have all that behind the play. I think it's a very calculated risk reward from Cano Smith to send not only Ame Mabika forward, but also Frank Nadarse for more often than not.
Grant Stoneman has been there during the tough times, even early in the season when Rhode Island was struggling with availability and injuries, and at one point Frank Nadarse was suspended, and Grant Stoneman has been the stalwart. And speaking of Nadarse, makes a nice move here. Brought down by Bent, who is booked.
Look at the skill from Frank Nadarse. Whoop! We'll see you later. Ben says, I can't let you go that easy, man. I'd rather lose my safety in terms of getting carded than lose my pride in that moment.
That's a defender doing that.
Yeah.
Frank Nadarse's got a bag of tricks, and Amos Shapiro-Thompson has a chance to put this into the penalty area. Can Rhode Island break the deadlock here? From the free kick. A decent whip and dip on it. Touched away, Mabika recycles the attack for Sanchez. Flips it back into the box. Coyote and company there initially. Knutson follows up. Nearly as far as Maxi Rodriguez, who recycles. Ball's fluttered onto this near side. Out for a goal kick. Hey, RIFC fans, grab yourself an ice cold Pepsi Zero Sugar for the match. Zero never tasted so good. Try it. to believe it. Pepsi Zero Sugar is a proud sponsor of RIFC. So both teams in pursuit of that first goal. One stat that really kind of caught my eye in the build-up to this game is that Rhode Island, the regular season and the playoffs, have gone 18 straight games unbeaten, dating back to last season, when they score first. First goal could be really, really important. And this season, when Rhode Island has conceded first, it's happened 5 times. They have not won any of those 5 games. Rhode Island looking for that first goal here. Rodriguez thwarted by his opposite number, Akinyoti. It's not cleared yet on this far side. Dikwa. Shapiro Thompson. This is Harivo. And Harivo is dispossessed. Rhode Island keeping it this end after Mabika slides in not once but twice, but eventually Miami emerge with the ball. A couple of bodies still down behind the play here. And both of them are now back up onto their feet as Blanco has it for the visitors. Little ball over the top. Figlio loses out to Holstead. Holstead, little pitching wedge chip shot for Rodriguez on this near side. And the speed on this near side of Amos Shapiro Thompson leads Rhode Island into the attack. It's played across. Oh, critical defensive intervention from Miami with Dikwa lurking. It's a throw-in.
And you see the frustration because, again, it's just the timing of these final decisions. Shapiro Thompson does everything right, takes that big touch in line, and you saw that moment of hesitation where he could have taken the strike right there. Instead, he sends it a half second later. That's because off the ball, you saw a little bit of hesitation from Albert Dikwa. Should I make this run near post in front of Bill Hamid? Should I make it back post behind Bill Hamid? And that slight moment of hesitation ultimately caused a bit of miscue for Shapiro Thompson and when he should send the delivery in. And that is such a frustrating place to be for an attacking group because you know the ideas are right. You know that you're creating dangerous opportunities. You know you're getting in the correct pockets of space, but the action that matters the most is the one that you're struggling to have perfect timing on. But I think I'd be remiss to also say Rhode Island went through a very similar thing to this last year. They didn't start scoring goals until late in the season, midway through the season, late in the season.
Darce recovers well on Bent. Those two go after each other again, 1v1.
Frank Darce had the better of Bent, and then Bent, my goodness, what skill. That individual competitive nature that we're seeing in 1v1 situations all over the pitch here this afternoon.
Corner for Miami on the near side. Short option is available. It's going to be clipped towards the back stick, but Jackson Lee is on the scene. Connor Smith did mention to us how last season it took time, to your point, Marion, to get the goals flowing. And he feels that as long as they're creating chances, it's only a matter of time before they might be able to get those goals moving in the right direction. Here is Hamid again. Makes a huge save to stop Dikwa. Again, Rhode Island. So close. Harivo. Holstead, oh, gorgeous give and go. Rodriguez, Hamid saves. Holstead deflected out wide for another corner. Within a whisker, Rhode Island, of taking the lead.
What combination play from the home side. This is the first opportunity. Deekwood just searching for a runner on the back post. Hamid gets the fingertips on it. Look at that. That's an act of beauty in terms of combination play in the final third. But if those two saves from Bill Hamid does not fire you up, if you're a Miami player on the field, I don't know what will.
Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner coming up. Shapiro Thompson to deliver. Five minutes left in the half. Ooh, it was towards Deekwa. No, Darce's header. Mabika was in there as well. Was there an extra touch on the way through? It looks like there was. Another corner. So that Chick-fil-A sandwich still in the balance, but more importantly, Rhode Island looking for that first goal here. Second try. Towards the back stick. Oh, Mabika was there, being held off. Fuson tries to pick up the pieces on this near side. Vasquez holds him off. And it's a Rhode Island throw on the near side. And there's a Rhode Island player down in the penalty area. Kalen Radisov brings it to a halt. Darce needs a moment, tying his shoe.
Just gets tangled up there. No intent, or no malicious intent, I should say, or ill will.
Maybe just needs a little tighter knot on that boot. Fuson gets the ball back in play. The service by Rodriguez. He's too strong, and it is a goal kick. Now there's no job too big for Norfolk Power Equipment, New England's premier Kubota dealer. Norfolk Power Equipment is a proud sponsor of RIFC. Come down today and get the job done with Norfolk Power. Good pressure here from Rhode Island on the near side. Harivo for Rodriguez. Holstead for Harivo. Holstead continued his run. Harivo gets it back from Shapiro Thompson. Holstead to the byline. Crossing it into the middle. It's an overhead kick from Deekwa. Almost a marriage of a bicycle kick and a sidewinding effort. Tame enough for Hamid to control it.
Clay Holstad really wanted this service a few feet closer to goal. It forces Deekwa to have to come back, but the question is, there was a player at the top of the box for Rhode Island. Should you not just call that one off and let someone in a much more favorable position take a shot at that?
Mabika's header, well placed. Lovely little flick on for Holstead, and Deekwa was trying to come back from an offside position. Couple of miscued touches there. Bent gets a bit fortunate. Miami hopes to bail him out through Vasquez on this near side. No, Darce's pressure pushes Miami towards this near side corner, and then one too many touches sees Rhode Island give away a free kick.
Yeah, that's a bit unlucky from Nadarce, but as you were mentioning that, and as we've been so heavy in terms of commenting on the offensive side of Rhode Island's play, so much of what they've been able to generate today, Sean, has actually come from those defensive pressure situations. I think that it can't go without being said that in this first half, the brightest spot has been the defense's willingness to win that second phase of play, keep Rhode Island in their attacking half, because ultimately that's kept connections a bit tighter, that's kept channels a bit more open. It's opened up different options. They can go in behind, they can play wide.
Holstead, flag is up against Deekwa. And the attack again fizzles out at the vital moment. Fuson had a good attempt there, but was dispossessed. Now Miami trying to move it forward. Fuson actually does really well to hold up Miami in the middle of the park. And then a little bit of a slip there. Knutson is back on it. We're into one added minute at the end of the half, and Miami might have a glimpse at it here. Hold up play, and on the layoff, Lee makes the save on the shot from Christian Vasquez. Nodarse. Mabika. Still 30 seconds left. Possibly one more opportunity in this first half to come. Ooh, that looked like a good touch initially from Dequa, but it just leaks over the sideline here. And it's a throw into Miami. On as the ball was thrown down the line. The half ends here in Pawtucket. Somehow, someway, 0-0 between Rhode Island and Miami. Certainly, Marion, not for a lack of trying. There were so many close calls.
Miami never really got into this half, and as you alluded to, no small part of that and this game being tied at half goes to Bill Hamid. But for Rhode Island, you continue this positive effort, and you continue the recognition that Miami has expanded their shape. They have a front line and they have a defensive line. They are struggling in the midfield, and Rhode Island has done a very nice job at picking those pockets.
Well, the brick wall that is Bill Hamid keeping Miami in it, but Rhode Island have been positive. They've created chances, just haven't found the back of the net. We'll step aside for a moment. Halftime in Pawtucket, it's 0-0.
It's time to hit. It's time to fly. It's time to leave it all on the line. It's time to get loud. And time for tradition. This is our time. This is your time. It's rugby time, America.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
Halftime here in Pawtucket. It is Rhode Island 0, Miami 0, with a big 45 minutes still to come here at Centerville Bank Stadium. Good one so far. We'll see if Rhode Island can break the deadlock in the second half. And of course, around the USL, lots of big games coming up, most notably the USL Super League. Later on tonight, actually just underway. Tampa Bay Sun and Dallas Trinity in the semifinals. Winner goes to that final on June 14th. Remember, you can stream the USL Super League on Peacock, and our own Marion Crowder tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Carolina Ascent, the top seed, take on Fort Lauderdale United for a place in the first ever USL Super League final. And of course, Centerville Bank Stadium will host Major League Rugby's championship coming up on June 28th. Tickets are available now at majorleague.rugby/champ today to take in what should be an excellent final here in Pawtucket. Well, we'll step aside for a moment. We'll have news and notes, out-of-town scores, and the upcoming schedule from around the rest of the USL Championship coming up after the break.
This week on USL All Access, head coach Ryan Martin from Loudoun United joins us to talk their recent success and how it's more sustainable this time around in their long-term vision. How about the Oakland Roots? Day one, they dismissed Gavin Glinton. End of day one, they named Benny Fehlhaber as their new head coach. We got USL Jägermeister Cup action. Sacramento Republic in Indy 11, perfect halfway through the inaugural edition of this tournament between the two leagues.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it.
Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
How does Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water keep you in the game? We always source our water directly from the natural spring to fuel every body, no matter how you like to move it. So whether you're chasing your goals or just staying active this summer, make sure to stay hydrated with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water. Always bottled at the natural spring source.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way.
Focus!
Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power.
Whatever it takes.
Trusted for over 100 years. Tiger Balm's proven herbal blend tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger so that you can rise above pain.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
What a start to the season at Louisville City League!
Joe Brito! Oh, it's magnificent! What a finish! These fans are winners of the seriously nice seat upgrade courtesy of Breeze Airways. Each match, Breeze Airways upgrades lucky fans to a premium match day experience. Breeze Airways is a proud partner of Rhode Island FC.
Those look good.
They look really good.
You
like
would upgrade.
One of the best seats in, better believe I would. 0-0, Rhode Island and Miami. That's Marion Crowder, Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew. Always a pleasure to be with you as we take a look at the news and notes from around the league. There's a few big ones to get to, most notably Gavin Glinton parting ways with Oakland. In comes U.S. men's national team legend Benny Fehlhaber.
And you and I were talking about it off air, some of the success he's had with in the MLS Next Pro side. I think the question becomes, can he groom an identity out of the current group of players, and really how much leeway he has in terms of roster decisions, because new head coach also means change. and I think that he could be a really good fit for this side.
Good to see some of the youngsters as well. Sac Republic's Blake Wiley and Tampa Bay's Nate Worth getting called up. U.S. men's national team under 18s for the UEFA Friendship Cup. And then, of course, on the deuce, Lou City, Rhode Island, rematch of last year's playoff game, June 11th on ESPN2. And then some Jaeger Cup action there as well. Detroit City and Westchester on July 26th will also air nationally on ESPN2. Out-of-town scoreboard, some of this from Wednesday. Big win for Indy at Birmingham Legion. And then Hartford yesterday have their hearts broken by North Carolina in stoppage time.
Yeah, and really I want to go back to that Birmingham Indy 11 score. You know, we just talked about the job that Benny Feilhaber is going to have going into Oakland. Mark Briggs right now is in action trying to do that with the Birmingham Legion. And he's gotten a couple good results, but really still struggling to put an identity together. Doesn't happen overnight, Sean.
Bounce back for Loudoun as well. They were trailing early against Charleston. They grab a late point there as well. And later on tonight, always a good one, Lou City and Tampa Bay, 8 p.m., ESPN+. The champions Colorado Springs are at the Lab to take on New Mexico. Vegas are in San Antonio. Lexington in desperate need of a win. They're in Seaside to take on Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay is also looking for a bit of turnaround, a little bit of slump to their outstanding start to the 2025 season. I'm interested in this San Antonio-Las Vegas matchup, just given the way that these two teams play. I think it could be a stalemate, no doubt.
And the Lights also need a bounce back after a tough Jägermeister Cup battle last time out. Benny Feilhaber and Oakland taking on El Paso later on tonight on ESPN+. And then Sac Republic, really been good at home in particular of late. They take on Luke Spencer's FC Tulsa. Golazo, Phoenix, Orange County.
That's going to be an exciting one. I think goals galore, two very offensive-minded teams, and really Orange County's defensive structure has gone a bit under the radar. Can they deal with all of those weapons from Phoenix Rising?
Goals are contractually obligated to be scored on the Golazo network, so we'll see if that holds up later on tonight. No goals here yet in Pawtucket. We expect that to change in the second half. Highlights, stats, and the second half kick from Centerville Bank Stadium are coming up on the other side of this break.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
It's time to hit. It's time to fly. It's time to leave it all on the line. It's time to get loud. And time for tradition. This is our time. This is your time. It's rugby time, America.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew. It is Rhode Island 0, Miami 0. Still a big 45 minutes to play here in Pawtucket. Don't miss out on any of the action at Centerville Bank Stadium this season. 2025 prorated season tickets are on sale now. Let's jump in to the first half highlights between Rhode Island and Miami. 0-0, and the stats kind of reflect that so far. Edge for Rhode Island possession-wise, but they've outshot Miami by 5 and outshot Miami on target 6-2.
Gaston Madani's going to need to make some changes at halftime to get his team back into this game. Never really felt like they got their footing after that early opportunity from Jackson Lee. And then on the flip side, Connor Smith, what an interesting position he's in as a manager. Such positive things in that first half, but the one thing that he's been asking for is the execution, and that's ultimately what he's still lacking.
Miami did make a change. Brandon Bent, who was on a yellow card, is taken out. Alejandro Mitrano takes his place. Miami is in the midst of a run on the road in all competitions where they have yet to lose this season. They hope that continues in the second half, but Miami has also not kept a clean sheet yet this season, particularly in the USL Championship. So that's also reason for Rhode Island to hope that they could get this over the line in the second half. And again, Rhode Island trying to get their first home win since October of last year when they were playing in a different home, of course. They're trying to finally christen Centerville Bank Stadium with its first ever victory.
The harder challenge that's missing, and as a manager, the harder approach is not to say, hey, do this better, do that better. It's actually to dial in on the mentality, right? Because as the players, and we've seen it a little bit in the body language from Rhode Island, just how easy it is to know you're so close, but still nothing to show for it. That frustration starts to become evident. You start to want to always be the hero, and then ultimately the quality of the decision-making starts to decrease. And so if I'm Connor Smith, right, I'm dialing into that mentality, trying to encourage, guys, continue what we're doing. It's going to happen. The door is finally going to break loose.
Miami looked to break this up the other end. Little touch towards the edge of the box here, and Rhode Island didn't deal with it initially, and Sanchez has to sweep it up and clear it out of play. Scan to learn more about Rhode Island FC's College Pass. For only $99, get 10 tickets and use them your way. Radisov is our head official. Stops the play there on the far side. Rhode Island will restart with a free kick. And it's going to fall here for Dequa. The angle was against him, trying to beat the goalkeeper Hamid from a tight spot. Could not put it on target, but appreciated the service. Been the star so far for Miami, Bill Hamid. Probably not how Gaston Madoni drew it up as far as that's concerned, but Hamid has been able to keep Miami hanging around in this game. Then a couple other really good clearances from the likes of Jonathan Ricketts and others. Miami's defensive setup, and now there's some Rhode Island defending to do with a Miami corner to come on the near side.
The interesting thing about this Miami side, they are a team that the longer you let them hang around, the more likely they are to have a moment of brilliance in the attack. Because make no mistake about it, they have very, very skillful attackers, very skilled players on the ball. And in these moments, Francisco Bonfilio, he is one that you need to be doubled down on.
Ball is whipped in towards Lee, was headed down, and Nodarse clears that away. Jackson Lee hesitated for a moment there, but his defense picks him up. Miami are able to move through the lines here on a second opportunity, and then Lee slides in and doesn't get there, but it's eventually cleared away. A scramble inside the Rhode Island penalty area that eventually gets swept away, I should say. Romero's reset for Miami, clipped down this near side. Ricketts played it across. Deflects back out to this near side. Vasquez dispossessed. Rhode Island still not able to definitively clear this. Rodriguez steps back in. Sanchez for Ame Mabika, who clips it out to the far side. There's time and space for Noah Fuson to work with. Goes around the corner to Harivo. And Harivo gets past a challenge, has some space to run into on this far side. It's briefly caught up to. Forced to retreat in the end to Nadarse. Good recovery by Metrano. Legs are fresh. Clearing it away again. Willamede simply can do no wrong at the moment for Miami. Rodriguez trying to play it through. And again, Nadarse and company sweep it up. Ball is clipped out to the far side. More space for Miami to run into here. Metrano wants it, but it's played back across. And that was a golden opportunity. Lucas Milano should have done a bit better there for Miami.
But we said going out of the half that the midfield was non-existent for Miami, and this all starts from a cheeky distribution out to the wide channel, and that occupies central players for Rhode Island and allows this isolation on the back post to happen.
That's two big chances Lucas Milano has had tonight, and he has not been able to hit the target with either of them. Does have the one goal in the league so far this season. But Miami come forward again. More good build-up on this far side. And it's clipped into the middle. Free header. Jackson Lee swipes it off the line. And the follow-up is blocked by Mabika. Francisco Bonfilio nearly breaking the deadlock. Lee and Mabika to the rescue for Rhode Island.
Too much time and space on the ball here. Francisco Bonfilio, aerially one of the best in the league right now in terms of not only his timing, but his willingness. And they're not out of danger yet, Rhode Island.
Should add Sanchez to the list there of players who got in the way of the follow-up. And you're right, Marion, still a corner to negotiate here for Rhode Island. Taken by Vasquez on this near side eventually, although he does have a short option here, and is now not going to be used. In for Lee, who punches, not definitively here. He's able to catch it on the second attempt. Chance to break, Fuson. Thwarted just past the halfway line. Miami starting to get more and more of the ball as the second half moves along. Bonfilio out to the far side. Nice marauding run here. Metrano is fouled. Free kick.
This is exactly what happens if you look at Miami's body of work. This is how they've been able to pull out some positive results. It's because they have made teams earn the 3 points against them. Last year, as soon as Miami found themselves down, found themselves a bit out of the rhythm, they would shut down entirely. But this year, oftentimes their best performances have been in the second half as teams have allowed them to continue finding comfort, finding pockets of space. And the more that that happens, the more the confidence grows for this Miami side.
Sebastian Blanco stands over it along with Vasquez. And this stingy Rhode Island defense will be tested here. From the free kick, oh, it squeezes through, and it goes all the way in from Sebastian Blanco. And Miami's persistence at the start of the second half pays off. The visitors have snagged the lead with Blanco's first goal in the USL Championship this season.
With the quality on this roster, the longer you let them stay in a game, the more likely you're gonna give them an individual moment to shine. And my goodness, was that a perfect, low-driven ball to the side netting getting it just around the wall, keeping it low enough for Jackson Lee to have to go to ground. That is a work of beauty from Blanco.
That's the 6th time that Rhode Island have fallen behind this season. They've never come back to win. They've got a lot of work to do if they're going to change that. Miami have snatched the momentum away from them at the start of the second half. And Blanco burying it past Lee, who did get a big hand to it. Sees Miami grab the lead.
If you're Rhode Island, this is really when the weight of not putting those chances away in the first half start to show itself.
We're told that Zach Haribo has actually received a yellow card for Rhode Island after all the dust settled around the goal. Keep an eye on that as the match continues. Perfect pass. That's a corned beef on rye. Hat trick. That's 3 Kugels, please, at Mavens. They play to win with flavors that score every time. I think if a Rhode Island player gets a hat trick this season, they might have to get an award of 3 Kugels. We'll have to work that one out with Mavens at some point.
Yeah.
Got to get the one at the moment. Sanchez finds Rodriguez. Nice little bit of movement on this near side by Sanchez. Early ball in, maybe too early. And Bill Hamid is all over it for Miami. His saves from the first half are looking more and more important as time moves by in this second half.
Well, Miami's head coach told us earlier in the year, quite frankly, Bill Hamid wins you games. And if this scoreline holds, that statement will be ever so true.
Again, if the result holds, Miami will have already exceeded the amount of games they won all year last year, and the amount of points that they got all year last season as well. And they would jump ahead of Rhode Island in the East with a game in hand as well. However, there's still 33 minutes left to negotiate.
And really the next 5 to 10 is all going to be about the mental response from Rhode Island. Again, we talked about the weight of not scoring and how it affects not only obviously the attackers who that burden is on, but it also starts to impact the defensive group, right? They feel like they're doing everything correct and they just can't do enough. And how you respond to those moments is ultimately what makes a team. We've talked to Kano enough to know that this is a roster built on quality character first and foremost, and now it's time to show that.
Haribo for Sanchez. Haribo continues his run down this near side. Ricketts, he's there defensively. Ricketts actually thought he was tripped in that sequence. He's still complaining to the referee, but it is a Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner on the near side as we approach the hour mark. Rhode Island in desperate need of a response here. Goes towards the back stick, punched away by Hamid in traffic. Holstead. Shapiro Thompson kept it in, but then gave the ball away. Shapiro Thompson follows up on this near side. Miami playing through a little bit of Rhode Island pressure here. And they nearly lost it. Now Rodriguez follows up. And eventually, Rhode Island get a free kick. Vasquez is penalized. Nodarse for Haribo. Gets it back from Holstead. Rhode Island have been in this spot maybe too many times this season where they had so much control over a game, then they give up a goal, and at times just not been able to recover after that. The Pittsburgh game last time they were here is another example of that. A similar game out here against Monterey Bay a few weeks back. They did get the equalizer in that game from Joe Brito, but had to settle for a point. This is Sanchez. Forced to go back to the halfway line. Mabika. Whose crossfield pass comes up short. Vasquez gets past Haribo on that far side. Miami have some numbers here. Blanco, the goal scorer, cannot pick out a teammate, and Sanchez wins it back. Miami's preparing a change. We'll get to that in a moment. It's like Francesco Celeste is getting set to come on. Good switch of play by Rodriguez for Nodarse. Nice run by Fuson, but the ball won't get there. Akinyoti is there, and he clears. Haribo trying to thread the needle again. Akinyoti and company. Get enough on it. Haribo overzealous. Free kick. Kalen Radisov will now acknowledge that Miami wants to make a change here. It is Celeste. Will come on for Vasquez, who was sitting on that yellow card. It is Miami's second change of the night, and Rhode Island appear to be getting Joe Brito prepared off the bench as well. Joe Brito's already been an impact substitution a few times this season for Rhode Island. And he is on here to try to be a difference maker. RIFC down the stretch, and Maxi Rodriguez makes way. It does look like that Rhode Island are also going to bring back on Isaac Anking, who finally returns after that long-term injury. Gets a nice hand here from the Centerville Bank Stadium faithful. It's his first time, of course, on this brand new pitch.
With Maxi Rodriguez coming out, you see already Shapiro Thompson shifting into a more central position. He's been shifting in and out of it, but will likely become as permanent. And really, for Miami, got to give them credit for how they were able to take Maxi Rodriguez out of the game.
Isaac Anking made 8 appearances, scored 2 goals for Rhode Island last year before picking up that long-term injury. So nice to see him back out there. And this is clipped in towards the back stick. Miami again looking to create something here. Flip back across. Oh, that was a free header. And then off the ricochet, it nearly went on target. It goes out for a Miami corner as Rhode Island nearly made a mess of that inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, and things are just getting a bit lazy right now from Rhode Island defensively.
Just to confirm that earlier change, it was Brito and Anking on. Rodriguez and Dequa were the two players that left. 25 minutes to go, and from the corner, Mabika's header volleyed back into the mix by Mercado. A good sliding challenge there, but Miami still have a chance to provide more service here. Blanco gives chase. Rhode Island give up the throw-in again on this near side. Blanco. A layoff Romero. Mabika and Harivo. And then it's a miscued pass. Again, Miami able to get back on it, but they can't hold it for very long.
And the confusion for Harivo in those moments was every single option that he had was just 5 yards from him. Right, he was looking for a bit more depth, a bit more verticality, something to eliminate the pressure from this Miami side.
Blanco's goal has Miami in pole position for all 3 points. There's still time for Rhode Island to turn it around. We'll get a free kick here. The challenge from behind by Ricketts. Do you have a game plan to pay for college? If not, check in with RISLA, a local expert on preparing, planning, and paying for college. Visit RISLA.com to find out more. Holstead keeps the ball in play for Sanchez. Plays it back across. It could sit up nicely here. No Darce goes down. Ooh, and is that in the box or out of the box? Referee says it's a free kick. Rhode Island contending that that was on the line, and if it's on the line, it should be a penalty. It was very, very close. Oh dear, that's a penalty.
Absolutely, Sean. What a wonderful prep touch from Nadarse. It takes him just inside the penalty area. And no penalty given. Important to note, no VAR in the USL Championship. If you're sitting there thinking this is going to go to review, it is not. The call is the call, and the call was wrong.
I think the puzzling part is that Kalen Radisov had such a good look at that as well.
And even more so, look at the spot.
The positioning's nowhere near where even the foul occurred, let alone outside of the box, of course. That is a huge break, by the way, for Miami. Anking and Fuson stand over it. What a fairy tale moment it would be if Anking could be somewhat a part of a big moment here. It is Anking. Just hit off the top of that Miami wall. That was destined to hit the target at the very least. Lee gets it back, meanwhile, from Holstead. And then Lee gives it right back to Miami on the far side. Whether you're headed to work, school, or game day, RIPTA gets you there. With statewide service and easy trip planning. Transit's never been simpler. Visit RIPTA.com to plan your ride today. Just over 20 minutes to go in Pawtucket. Sean St. Jacques, Marion Crowder, our entire crew. Rhode Island very, very unlucky not to have a goal and should have had a penalty just a few moments ago as well. But the fact of the matter is, Cano Smith's men are 1-0 down with only 20 minutes left to rescue some points here. Holstead switches the point of the attack. It's actually a really well-placed ball for Harivo. Enking for Holstead. Sanchez. Oh, lovely ball from Shapiro Thompson, and then Holstead is stood up. Rhode Island keep on pushing here. Shapiro Thompson again. Fuson on the turn. Bends one. And it's parried out for a corner. Bill Hamid, it may have been going wide anyway, but Hamid wasn't to know that.
I can't understate how difficult this save was. Watch Bill Hamid. Everyone in this stadium thinks this is going to be a service to the back post. Bill Hamid actually starts to cheat to the runners, thinking he's going to have to punch it out in traffic. Instead, he has to stop mid-jump to make that save from potentially going into the top bin.
Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner. It's bent into the near post. It's headed away as Stoneman was in the vicinity. Tracked down by Amos Shapiro Thompson. Isaac Enking out wide. Shapiro Thompson again trying to thread that needle. Rhode Island forced to this near side and then forced back into their own end. It does look like Karifa Yao is getting set to come on for Rhode Island down the stretch. Another player that's good to have back for that defensive depth for Cano Smith's side. Here's the next player that Rhode Island fans will want to see at some point. Will be J.J. Williams. Boy, have they missed him at times this season, particularly here at Centerville Bank Stadium.
It was unfortunate as well, right? The exit of J.J. Williams from this starting 11 and from the availability list, because really at the time he exited, Maxi Rodriguez and his connections were becoming very prevalent. And don't get me wrong, there have been positive connections all over the pitch for Rhode Island here tonight. And that's probably the frustrating thing, Sean, right now as it stands, because it has not been a poor performance.
Here comes the Rhode Island change. Zach Harivo is on a yellow card. Is going to make way. And Karifa Yao is going to take his place. The Canadian played in 37 games for Rhode Island last season. This is his 7th appearance of this season, the former Vancouver Whitecap player.
Also been dealing with some injuries throughout the season.
That is another thing that Cano Smith has talked to us at times about this season, is getting some guys back. Enking, Yao, and then hopefully Williams. It's going to certainly help Rhode Island's cause. As a challenge comes in here, Figlio is just going to be booked. It's a yellow card, although Grant Stoneman thought it may have been in that red category. Not to be.
Let's see if Grant Stoneman has an argument. Studs were down. And to go back to your point, Sean, about the injuries and getting people back, no one often talks about some of the negatives to having different players returning, because as a manager, your job is to be able to make connections, make chemistry.
Lovely ball played in behind here for Fuson. Sanchez is on the overlap. And nobody made the run to the edge of the 6-yard box to get on the end of what was a brilliant ball flashed across the face. Meanwhile, clever touches from Holstead, and then Holstead lunges in. And Clay Holstead is booked.
chemistry that we were talking about. As we look at Clay Holstead's challenge, a bit late. But as players start to return to this lineup for Rhode Island, so many positives, but also something that you have to take into consideration as a manager. That chemistry, right, that changes within the team. And finding a way to insert injured players back into the mix is actually a very skillful thing for managers to do. It can often disrupt the rhythm, disrupt the tempo, especially as we get later in the season, perhaps disrupt some of the training patterns. And it takes a very skillful manager to be able to reintegrate those players in a positive manner.
That's why you hear so many coaches around the league and around world soccer in general call it a good problem. It's still a problem,
Absolutely.
but it's a good problem. Starting to get curious here. Gaston Madoni might have to make a swap here for Miami. An injured player down. They do still have 3 changes left. Rhode Island have 2 remaining. So we are well into the last 15 minutes now, plus stoppages to come. We have another good crowd here that have braved through some of the elements here in Pawtucket tonight. And somehow I've not seen Rhode Island score a goal. Goal that has gone in from Sebastian Blanco could be enough for Miami to leave with all 3 points. Rhode Island keep battling on this near side, although the decision goes Miami's way. Shapiro Thompson not pleased, but it's a Miami free kick. And as we had anticipated, Miami is going to make a change. Dejan Veron is going to come on as we look at the challenge here.
Shapiro Thompson has an argument. But then you have to give the Miami player credit for putting himself between the ball and the tackle. That aside, and the scoreline aside, Shapiro Thompson's had a very, very good performance here today.
Veron on for the goal scorer Blanco, whose night is done. And then a header here towards Lee, who makes the catch. It's certainly not a situation where Rhode Island have run out of ideas. They've had plenty of chances. Again, that's what's been keeping Cano Smith and the rest of the Rhode Island staff so encouraged. But it has just been the lack of clinical acumen in the final third. That timing just hasn't been there. The touch, just not quite to perfection. And that final moment in the sequence has let Rhode Island down tonight. And to be fair, Bill Hamid has made some unbelievable stops. Miller Lite is a proud sponsor of RIFC. When it's game time, it's Miller time. Nice little give and go in the middle of the park here, and Rhode Island have space to run into on this near side with Fuson. Fuson's ball across. He's gonna go over everybody's head and roll out of play.
Especially of Noah Fuson, why you don't take that touch towards the end line. Instead, he takes that touch almost directly to the corner flag and invites Miami's defensive pressure back into it, makes the cross that much more difficult for himself.
Rhode Island get the throw on the far side. Nodarse. Lito back and forth with King. And eventually the referee gives Rhode Island a free kick. As the face of a man trying to be as patient, I think, as he possibly can at this point, Cano Smith. A couple of decisions have gone against Rhode Island here, on top of the fact that his side has just not been able to get the ball over the end line. Amos Shapiro-Thompson will set this up. We're ticking down. Final 10 minutes, plus stoppage time left in Pawtucket. Ball is bent in. Oh, there was a free header in there. Played onto this near side. Stoneman picks up the pieces. Sanchez tries his best to fit out a cross. He will get a Chick-fil-A Attleboro corner on the near side. Shapiro-Thompson again will take. Can Rhode Island find the leveler? Hamid, maybe could have caught that, decided against it, punched it clear. Does give Rhode Island a chance to recycle with Holstead. This is Lee, well off his line, and just about finds a teammate. Shapiro-Thompson actually sweeps that up really well. Keeps it with Rhode Island on this far side. Brito back and forth with Holstead. Deflected back towards Brito. Miami will eventually clear it upfield. Sanchez. Shapiro-Thompson. And again, trying to gear up for another opportunity here. Header is flicked down towards Holstead. Flutters it out to the far side. No, Darce's ball back in. Touched clear. Darce again. Cutting in field. And eventually loses out. And Miami, though, cannot move it forward. The hosts get it back. Just 8 minutes of normal time still to go.
Well, Miami not concerned whatsoever with putting any kind of pressure on the ball carrier.
This bounces in behind here, but Hamid is able to get there. Brief glimmer for Noah Fuson there. Never got a really good touch on the ball.
It's going to be difficult, especially with how Miami has dropped into a low block, to find those positive balls behind the back line. The space really just isn't there. But where Rhode Island has found some success and where you can actually avoid Bill Hamid is in the sequence right before that, where Frank Nadarcy sent a low-driven ball on the ground across the 18-yard box. Bill Hamid has been picking up just about everything in the air, getting some kind of a touch on it. Those low-driven balls into the numerous amount of runners in the 18-yard box for Rhode Island ultimately is how I see them getting the equalizer here tonight.
Anking doing everything he can there to keep it with Rhode Island, wins a free kick. And we talked about some of the histrionics around a potential Miami win here. If they win tonight, they would jump from 10th to 7th in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship, and Rhode Island, who began the night in 6th, would drop to 8th. Holstead eventually finds Anking. Far side, Nodarce. Towards the byline. And it deflects out for a goal kick as another attack for Rhode Island doesn't quite come off. Well, Well, Centerville Bank Stadium will host Major League Rugby's championship on June 28th. Tickets are available now at majorleague.rugby/champ today. So we're hitting the home stretch here at Centerville Bank Stadium. Miami's goal from Blanco is first in the USL Championship this season. Could be the winning goal.
This game being played in the air really doesn't bode in Rhode Island's favor. They've had so much control of this match just with their ability to move the ball.
Holstead and King. Sanchez, neither of them could get a clean touch on it. Miami looked to break up the other end. Mabika is on the case.
If we revisit the keys for Miami, it was very simple. Group defending, right? No question they have the individual skill to be able to score in few quality opportunity moments. We've seen that tonight. The question was, can they stop conceding goals? And I think the buy-in for this group's defensive ability here in the last 10 minutes is really something that Gaston Madani is going to be proud of.
It does look like that Taimu Okiyoshi is getting set to come on for Rhode Island in the latter stages here. The ball is flipped forward, nudged out of play. It is a throw-in, and Kalen Radisov acknowledges the substitution. Cano Smith is going to take out Ame Mabika to bring on an extra attacker for the home stretch here. Throwing the kitchen sink at it for these final few minutes. Yoshi has not scored yet for Rhode Island in the USL Championship. Would pick a heck of a time to get his first if he could salvage something here for Rhode Island at the end. Shapiro Thompson, excellent little weaving run, and he's tripped up. That's a Rhode Island free kick. It's in a very good spot. Provides some service.
And before we get too far removed from it, Okiyoshi's substitution is actually going to change some things on this near-hand side like we're seeing. Sanchez is going to push up further to combine. Nadarse is going to pull out a little bit more, and Clay Holstad's actually, the insertion of a central player like Okiyoshi is going to be able to allow Clay Holstad to go play in a more wide serving area.
Aldair Sanchez to deliver. Goes towards the back stick again. Nobody there to really attack it for Rhode Island. Holstead forced to recover it on the far side. There is Okiyoshi. Ball clipped towards this near side. Fuson was the target. It never got there. And Miami have it back on this near side. One thing, Marion, that you hinted at earlier in the game, looking back at Miami from last season, they were criticized for not having the heart, for not having the ability to see games out. The last time they played Rhode Island was a great example of that. They fell behind early, it became an avalanche of goals. Well, they've come back to play Rhode Island this time, and it has been a completely different set of circumstances, and they're closing in on what would be a very impressive victory.
When you talk to coaches around the league, the general sentiment is this is no longer a gimme game. This is a team, regardless of the result at the end of the day, this is a team that for 90 minutes is going to make you earn the 3 points, the draw, and oftentimes we've seen them give some really good teams a loss. San Antonio, when San Antonio was really at the peak.
Beat Loudoun
Absolutely.
as well, who have been really strong in multiple competitions this season. Approaching stoppage time in Pawtucket. Chance for Miami to move this forward. On the far side, at the very least, they could have used some clock there, but the offside flag goes up. That's a missed opportunity for the visitors to use up more of the seconds here. Rhode Island will have to hope there's at least a few minutes left of stoppage time. Yao for Stoneman. This is Holstead moving forward. Okiyoshi, 5 added minutes still to play. Nodarse. Stoneman again. Brito into the middle. Fuson was the closest to it. Again, Miami get the header clear. Stoneman again for Yao. Rhode Island have Miami pinned back. Can they find the late leveler here? Jackson Lee in need of some assistance, as is Holstead. Holstead goes down the line here. Brito towards the edge of the box, and it's miscontrolled by Noah Fuson. It's a goal kick. High Noons quality is second to none, formulated with real spirits, real juice, real iced tea, no added sugar, and natural flavors. High Noon is the perfect drink for any occasion. Well, Bill Hamid's been up to the occasion for Miami tonight. Along with Blanco, they've been the two standouts for Miami, and the rest of the team have added these kind of moments, these winning moments that can help get Miami over the line here as they win another free kick.
Story of the first half was Bill Hamid, no doubt about it. The story of the second half, however, has been how this team has rallied around his first half performance. It was a moment of brilliance on a set-piece situation, and from there, it has been a very professional performance on the road for Miami.
3 minutes of added time left. Battle in the corner rages on. It is going to be a Rhode Island goal kick. They've got to get the ball up the field quickly here. And a second ball rolls onto the pitch. That does not help Rhode Island's cause. 2 minutes for Rhode Island to salvage a point. Clip down this near side, looking for Fuson, and Miami do clear it out for a throw-in. Fuson needs help. There's no one to throw it to. Have to get the ball in quickly. And eventually, Fuson will give way to Holstead, who is a good long ball thrower. Holstead's ball in is good. It was flicked on by Nodarse. Fuson. Sanchez. Dispossessed, but it's not a good clearance. Gives it back to Stoneman. Brito. Stoneman clips it for Holstead. 1 minute left. Holstead rides the challenge. Back out wide. Ball is clipped into the box. Sanchez will not be able to keep the ball in play. And it's a goal kick, and Miami are nearly over the line. Bill Hamid directing traffic here and sends it forward. Kiyoshi steps to it. Rhode Island have about 15 seconds. Keeping it up ahead. They'll get a throw in here. Shapiro Thompson leaves it for Sanchez. This has got to be thrown in very swiftly. A little flick on, and then it's cleared away from Amos Shapiro Thompson. Referee has a look at the watch here. Maybe time for one more chance. Yao sending it forward. Holstead keeping it in play. A little layoff for Shapiro Thompson. No Darce for Sanchez on this near side. Surely the last chance of the game. It's clipped in, and Hamid, fittingly enough, makes the catch in traffic and likely seals the victory. And tempers fray at the very end. Both teams still going after each other here. Kalen Radisov trying to keep the peace. Hamid is still down. Now Miami players are going after each other a bit here. Almost trying to settle each other down. And a yellow card comes out for Bono Akinyode for Miami. And I think in the midst of all that, the referee blew the final whistle. Miami have indeed won the game. They continue to erase those bad memories from 2024, and they're replacing them with really impressive wins. And add this one towards the top of the list. Miami wins over Rhode Island for the first time in the club's history, and they erase all the memories of 8-1 in October last year with a really impressive 1-0 victory here tonight.
Sean, very well said in terms of what Miami came here to prove, and they did that. This is another progression that Gaston Madoni can build off of. And for Rhode Island, unfortunately, the question coming into this game was not, can you create more? Can you show more? It was really, can you execute? Can you be consistent in your decision-making in the final third? And that's a question that is still yet to be answered.
The official physical therapy partner of RIFC is visit highbarhealth.com to begin your journey to feeling better and moving freely and living fully. They provide you with the full-time score. It's another home defeat for Rhode Island. Miami with an impressive 3 points, and they're back in the top 8. We'll wrap it up after this.
At Centerville Bank, we're rooting for your progress. From the everyday moments to the challenges you overcome, the little victories, and the big wins. Because your progress is our purpose. Centerville Bank, progress on purpose.
At Ortho Rhode Island, we've built the future of orthopedic care around an important foundation, you. Our experienced surgeons and specialists offer the full spectrum of orthopedic care with leading-edge treatments and technology and a one-of-a-kind patient experience. From diagnosis to outpatient surgery, physical and occupational therapy, acute injury care, and advanced imaging, we make you the cornerstone of innovative care. To learn more or schedule an appointment, visit orthopedicsri.com.
You may think the nicest moments happen once you've arrived at your destination. At Breeze, we think they happen all along the way.
Yeah, let me grab that for you.
That was so nice.
Whether you're kicking back in Breeze Ascent or just enjoying time together in family seating, we take creating nice moments seriously, so you're ready for the rest of the journey ahead. When it's all over, the nicest moment might just be planning your next trip. Breeze. Seriously nice.
Our full-time match highlights here. Sean and Marion back here with you. Rhode Island and Miami in the USL Championship. We begin with the Energy Play of the Game presented by Rhode Island Energy. What a bit of build-up from Rhode Island, but Rodriguez thwarted by an excellent Bill Hamid save.
Yeah, this is twofold Energy Play of the match because not only did this start an onset of positive Rhode Island chances, but it also started a flurry of incredible Bill Hamid saves.
Make progress towards your goals with Centerville Bank, the official banking partner of Rhode Island. They bring you the save of the game, and this is really nice from Jackson Lee.
Big time reaction from Jackson Lee. His feet barely set. He's shuffling to the near post and has to go back to the back post. And What a moment. What a defensive effort from the group.
And then in the 54th minute, maybe Jackson Lee thinks he could have done a bit better here, but Blanco deceives the wall and scores for Miami.
Yeah, Jackson Lee gets something on this, but make no mistake about it, that ball had a lot of English to it. It was dipping, it was curling, and it was a wonderful set-piece situation. And from there, Miami parked the bus a bit, a professional performance to see a very positive result out.
And this is what it currently looks like in the USL Championship standings. Miami jumps from 10th into 7th, and Rhode Island goes down from 6th to 8th. And I must add this as well, Indy has a game in hand on Rhode Island, so there is a scenario where Rhode Island could find themselves below the playoff line in not too short of an order.
It can get late early when you have moments like this where the body language does start to show itself when you can't score those quality opportunities. This is something that Rhode Island FC really needs to take hold of before it becomes something deeper.
It's becoming a situation as well where Rhode Island is so good on the road at times, just haven't been able to figure it out at times here at Centerville Bank Stadium. And Miami, after the tough route last time they were in Rhode Island last year, they get their revenge. They win it thanks to Sebastian Blanco, Bill Hamid, and company here tonight. For Marion Crowder and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Pawtucket. A really impressive 1-0 win for Miami, who's back in the playoff places.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.